y'all, welcome back to Mama Loves Manga. In one of my earlier videos I talked about 5 new releases in 2019 that I enjoyed, and that prompt as well as Shay from Shay Geeks Out have inspired me to do my own little mini series featuring different categories of 5 favorites or 5 manga that I enjoy in certain categories. Shay did that on her channel and I thought it was a great idea. I also thought it would be easy content to post since I'm posting daily, and y'all, it's a struggle. So we're gonna start with romance because that is one of my favorite genres, and let's get into it. First on the list is The Full-Time Wife Escapist by Tsunami Umino. Here it is. I mentioned this in my digital collection video. It's such a wonderful series, and I hope that people who love romance manga will give this a chance even if they don't necessarily love digital, because it's so good. You're missing out if you are avoiding it because it's digital. But it follows this young woman right here. She is very educated, yet she's having a hard time finding a job. Her dad ends up finding her a job through a coworker. This coworker needs someone to clean his house while he's at work, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I will clean his house. I don't care. I need a job. She meets the man, and he's this 36-year-old man who works a lot. He just doesn't have time to keep his house as clean as he would like it to be, and to cook, do all these domestic things. And while they are dealing with this arrangement, they're also slowly starting to develop feelings for each other and realizing that, maybe they want to be together, and they're trying to navigate their relationship. It's very similar to my relationship with my husband. At the very beginning of our marriage, he worked, I stayed home with our baby. Later, I worked while he went to school and stayed home mostly with our son, our oldest son. And once he finished school and got the job he has now, it started to change again, and I was able to be home while he worked. And we do take turns with certain things because we live together in the same house, but for the most part, I take the majority of the housework so that he doesn't have to do it when he gets home, because, it's work. It is work to go to work and come home and do more work. And it's nice when you have a sort of partnership where you understand that and you respect that. I just can't imagine working outside of the home and then being expected to do everything at home as well. There needs to be a partnership. We respect each other as partners, and we see the value in what we each bring to the table. And that's one thing that I loved about their relationship. Another thing I loved about the series is that it's not just about that particular couple. There are other characters that are extremely interesting. The main woman, her aunt, is this amazingly interesting woman. I think she's in her 50s, late 40s, early 50s, and she's single. And so she's dealing with her life and navigating, being single and never having had kids, and kind of having all these feelings around it, and sort of feeling like maybe she's never going to find someone. And then she ends up finding someone, and he's much younger. He's still an adult. And so there's this conversation about like age gaps and what is appropriate, what is okay. And granted, personally, I don't have a problem with age gaps as long as a minor is not involved. I've been very vocal about this. As long as the person is not a minor and is able to consent and able to make their own decisions, and there's not like a power dynamic there, more power to you. And in her situation, there isn't really a power dynamic. They don't work together. They happen to know the same person, and they met and they got along, There's another couple, there's a gay couple, and I love all the couples, okay? I love it. Oh, who's texting me? Listen. It's not just about relationships, it's about learning about yourself. It's just about making life what you want it to be, and not really thinking and not really paying attention to what other people are saying that you should do or what other people are doing, because everyone's lifestyle and everyone's life choices are not for everyone. You know what I'm saying? The Full-Time Wife Escapist is an excellent romance and I highly recommend it. Let's move on to the next one, which is my messy pick, and that is Tokyo Tarareba Girls by Akiko Higashimura. I say this is messy because it is. This is a story about 3 women in their early 30s. They're all 33, same age that I am. They've made this pact to be married or at least in a relationship before the 2020 Olympics. And you see them stumble and fall and make decisions that I would not make personally. And it's so entertaining and in some ways relatable. Although I wouldn't make a lot of the decisions they've made, I can still relate to a lot of their feelings of insecurities and wondering if they're in the right place in life, because at 30 something you're supposed to be doing this, but I'm doing this. But it is very messy. Next on my list is my Yuri romance pick, and I picked After Hours by Yuta Nishio. This was a surprise for me. I've mentioned my love for Yuri many times on this channel, but I've also mentioned that I've had a hard time finding Yuri stories with grown women. And this was the first one that I had come across, at least in a bookstore. You know, I know now that there are other websites and things where you can find Yuri with adult women, but at the time, I didn't, and I was looking for things that I could pick up fairly easily, like if I went to Books A Million, and I saw this, picked it up, freaking loved it. I didn't really learn that much about nightclub DJ type stuff. That's supposed to be the the main focus, but I was more so intrigued by their relationship. I thought they were precious, and I highly enjoyed this. Next is my BL pick, and that is Ichigenme, the first class is Civil Law by Fumi Yoshinaga. I was hesitant to mention this because it is out of print. I think I've talked about this already. If I have, I will link the video somewhere, but just to give you an idea, this is about 2 guys who meet in college. One's gay, the other is straight, but he's not really sure. And you would think that it would have that whole like gay guy forces himself on the questioning straight guy. No, that's not what happens. Not really. They get into a situation at a like class kind of group bar meeting thing where everyone's drinking and there's hazing going on, and which I cannot remember their names. I'm so bad at names, but the gay guy ends up saving the straight guy from having to do a specific hazing task by kissing him. And it is, yeah, it's a little bit like, why are you? But in the context of it, I was totally fine with it. And he wasn't like creepy about it. He was just like, oh, hey, I'll kiss him. And there you go. There you go. See, that was his hazing thing. Because otherwise he was going to have to pull his pants down and whip his pee-pee out. And who wants to do that? Well, some people want to do that, but he didn't want to do that. They end up developing a genuine friendship that eventually turns into a relationship. There is no forcing. It's very sweet and honest, and the straight guy has time to discover his own feelings, and he realizes that he is in fact gay. It's not one of those, oh, I'm not gay, I just like you. No, he knows he's gay, and it's great. But that's not even the best part. I mean, the best part is the scenes, but that's not even the best part. The best part is the way all of the characters interact. Every single character in this series, which is only a 2-volume series, by the way, is important to the story, and they're interesting, and I loved reading about every single one of them. The interactions are so interesting, and then learning a little bit about like what law school could be like was quite interesting. I love that Fumi Yoshinaga clearly does her research when she's writing. It's just great. I I would highly recommend that you read this. If you can find it at a price that's reasonable to you, please pick it up. It's only 2 volumes and I love it so much. Oh, it's so good. Last but not least, I have a high school romance, and that is Beauty Pop by Kyoko Arai. This is so freaking cute. It's a 10-volume series, and it is out of print, so it may not be super easy to find. I found most of mine at Half Price Books, and then I think I bought the rest on the Amazon Marketplace. If you can find it and you like late 90s, early 2000s shoujo romance manga, you will enjoy this, or you've probably already read it. Back when I first started reading manga in 2006, I didn't have a whole lot of money, so I was only following like 1 or 2 series at a time, and so there were a lot of series from that time frame that I missed out on because I couldn't afford to try every single one that came out. So it's really fun for me to look back at series that came out during the time I first started and kind of play catch up, you know, and see what I missed out on. This was great. I love the fact that the romance is quite subtle. It's obvious that a crush is being developed. They do have feelings, and yes, they do. The people that do have feelings for each other eventually do confess it, but it's not one of those stories where they confess their love and then all of a sudden like they run off and I don't know, they get married or whatever, and they grow up too fast. Like, no, they end up like they confess their feelings and then they get a chance to grow up, and then you get the epilogue, and then you see if people ended up together. This is a shoujo romance that I would actually recommend to the demographic it's aimed at, because there are some that I'm like, why would I let my teenage child read this? I would recommend. So those were 5 romance manga that I love. I hesitate to say favorite because I love all the manga on my shelves for different reasons, but these are 5 that I enjoy. In the comment section below, let me know if you have read any of these series and what you think about them. And on that note, I'm gonna go sit down and read your manga. Bye. Ooh, I used the wrong hand to do that.